Wat ich gelaufen in der Gasse, wat ich gestiegen Schabbes, ich schau das heilige Schabbes. Ja Mama, ja Mama, ja Mama, ja Mama, ja Mama, ya mama, ya mama, ya mama, bye 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 bye. Da 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 da, ya mama, bye bye bye. Ya mama, bye bye bye. Ya da 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 da. Da 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 da, ya mama, bye bye. Ya mama, ya mama. Heschel wrote about Shabbat that Shabbat is a day in which we learn how to surpass civilization. The art of surpassing civilization. It's a lofty ideal, it's an aspiration, but it always begins with an invitation, a welcome. So I welcome you if you're here. You made it into this clearly poorly air-conditioned, but very full of ruach, a kind of different ruach acheret. It's a whole other kind of spirit that's in here tonight. So welcome you online also. Our Chevra 47 some odd screens, and those of you who are here as well. Tonight is our celebration also of Pride tonight. And we're also aware of many other winds of change that have also blown forcefully today. And for the moment, we keep our peace and stay with the place of Shalom on page 6. Please join us. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashades, Malachei Elyon, Omni Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Omni Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Tzedechem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Invite you to turn to page 9 and 10. Lechoner Adonai, L'Adonai, Na'aliyah, Letzur Yishenu, Nikadem Afada, Besoda, Bizemiros, Nariado, Yel Gadol Adonai, נבריך לבני אדוני סיקי ורבי אנחנו אמר יסוב את צאן ידו יום בקולו תשמעו אל תקשו לבבכם כי מדבר ביום מצא במדבר שניסוני אבותיכם וחנוני גם ראו פועלי
40 שנה אקוד בדור ויאמר אנטוי לבבהם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי באפי אם יבואו אל מנוחתי.
Page 11 and 12. Nine, 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 Page 13 and 14, Adonai Malach Tegalarit Yisnuchim Nabim. Yevoshu kol of day fesel misalim balilim. All illusions, all false perceptions evaporate divinity embodied in the world. Bows to the beyond, the Zion hears and is happy. The daughters of Yehuda dance with joy because of all this righteous. This right is for you, God is searching. Ove Adonai sinuram, shomer chanafshos chasidah, miyad yeshoim yatzilem, or zaru al tzadik, ulei yishrei lev simecho, simechu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'hodu ledreiche kodeshu. Mizmor, Shir Adonai, page 15 and 16, Shir Chadash, Kiniflo Sosam. Zamul Adonai, Bechinor, B'kol Zimra, B'chatzotzos, B'kol Shofar, Livnei Melech Adonai. Livnei Adonai, Kiva Lishpot, Haaretz Yishpot Hevel B'tzedek. ויעמים במי שורים, אדוני מלאך יגזו עמים. יושב קרובים תנות ארצי, אדוני בציון גדול ורמות. ועמוד ענן ידבר עליהם, שאמרו עדו שר, וחוק נוסר למות. Adonai Eloheinu, Ata Adisam, El Nosea Yisa Lachem, Venokem Alalilosam, Dai Bemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Vishtachavu Behar Kodesho. Hikadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Please rise if you're able. Psalm 29, page 19 and 20.
Chipmunk.
All of us be blessed with it. You may be seated. We continue on page 21 and 22 on Nabekok Gedu Lasi Mincham. Dati Tzuraka Bevina Samecha Sagveinu Taharenu Noram. We who seek your unity, guard us as the apple of your eye. Bless us, cleanse us with your righteous compassion. Always be granting us your kindness, mighty Holy One. In your great generosity, lead this flock. Singular and lofty, turn to this people, chanting of your holiness. Shavasenu kabel uchma tzakasenu de'atanu mos. Yachid li'amcha fenei zochrei kedushatecha. Yachid li'amcha fenei zochrei kedushatecha. זוכרי, קדושתך, קדושתך, יחי גאה לעמך, זוכרי קדושתך, So find your heart. If your eyes are closed, cool. If they're not, invite you to close them. There's all kinds of movement. Just what would it feel like just to stop everything? Don't prepare for the next song. Don't worry about what page it's on. Just to stop everything. And when you stop everything, you might notice sound, like the sound of the fan or the sound of the guitar, or the sounds in the room. Just notice that you don't have to make an effort to hear. I sometimes have to make an effort to hear, but broadly speaking, that sound arrives at your ears. You don't have to go get it. And that way, every sensation has its own aspect of Shabbat. No effort involved. Just noticing and remembering. Zachor v'shamor b'dibur echad. Just noticing and remembering. Just notice if you can allow yourself to release the body, some relaxation, some presence. Whenever you're ready to open your eyes, if you'd like to, and find the words. On page 23 and 24. We may not know whether our understanding is correct or whether our sentiments are noble, but the air of the day on Shabbat surrounds us like spring, which spreads over the land without our aid or notice. Heschel invites us into the spring that is in this beautiful psalm, this piyut on page 23 and 24, the Chadodi. Yeah. What are you doing? It's so beautiful what you were doing. It was so beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. So then you start, yeah.
Sorry.
So Page 27 and 28, Mizmor Shir, Yom HaShabbos. We invite you to remain standing as you turn to face Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. Tov le'odos Adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. And of your loyalty each night and the 10-string lyre, the harp and the lute, the instruments of our love. No fool could understand you, the wicked ones sprout up like grass. ואתה ביני בישורי וקמו אלי מרעים תשמענה אוזני צדיק קטן יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שסו לי בית אדוני בחצות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון בשיבה בשנים ורעננים Shadna Malakut Lavesh on page 29. Oz Hitazar Artikon Teve Baltimore Nachon Kisacham Neaz Leolam Atanasu Naros Yadunai Nesuzu Bikolos Maim Rabim Adirim Ish Benegam Adir Bamarom Adonai Edosechem Nemnu Modeves Chanav Kodesh Adonai Leodech Yamin. As we pray for healing this evening, we bring into our midst all of those who are in need of healing in body, heart, mind, and spirit. Bring to mind Dorian Bergen, who lost her father, Simon, this week, for healing in her heart. All of those who have COVID, all of those who are sick tonight, we pray for healing.
Sheberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless those before us, help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imoteinu mekor habracha liavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
You may be seated, everyone. Shabbos, everybody, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. A couple of very brief announcements before we invite those who are here for the first time to maybe stand up if you feel comfortable and say hello. It's not always the easiest thing to do. I was at my 6-year-old's play today and some of them did it, so I understand it's a little bit intimidating. So a couple of things, just so you know, of course, this Shabbat is Pride Shabbat, and we at Romemu are, of course, committed to affirming the dignity of all of those in our community and beyond who are identified as LGBTQ+, and including those who are in faith communities. It's clear, I think, to anyone who's ever been here before, but maybe if you haven't, that communities like Romemu reject the idea that there's a conflict between religious freedom and civil liberties. And this Pride Month, we celebrate faith and pride, and also urging our senators to pass the Equality Act to protect LGBTQ+ people from discrimination, no matter where they live. And so that's alive and well in here tonight. Also, this Shabbat, tomorrow morning, we have a beautiful bar mitzvah for Caleb Jacobs. And Caleb, and anyone who's following the weekly wisdom, the Parsha knows that tomorrow morning we'll be reading about Caleb's namesake, the biblical Caleb. So Caleb will be bringing his art and his power to the Bima tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. At 8:45, there will be, of course, the open book. Huge mazel tov to Maggie and the entire family, and also a couple of other mazel tovs to Bess Powers on the birth of her baby boy. Mazel tov to Renee and Mark Sutton on the birth of their grandson, Baruch Gabriel. And mazel tov to our members, David Charmé and Saren Smith-Harden, who are going to be getting married on Sunday, and we'll have their ofruf as well tomorrow. Romemu and Mandala Cafe Community Kitchen Family Day will be happening this Sunday, and it's your last chance to get involved with that. So come down at 2 o'clock on Sunday to make meals for those in our community. And this coming Wednesday, June 29th, Romemu is a part of a beautiful community. I don't know if people know this, but the Bloomingdale area that we're in has a remarkable park that the city invested about $7 million to make it the most accessible park in the city, or one of the most. And it's remarkable. It's right next door to the Romemu Center. We're in that incredible park. So this coming Wednesday is our second It's Our Park Day at the Bloomingdale Inclusive Park. Join us this spring into summer. You get to play with friends and meet new ones. All that's happening on Wednesday, this Wednesday from 2 to, I think, 7 o'clock as well. Okay. Who's here for the first time, wants to say hello? Anybody? I have a trusty microphone here. Anybody? First timers? Awesome. Wait for me. I'll be right there. Okay, to our Zoomagog, we got you covered. We got a microphone.
I don't know how much I have to say. I'm Heather.
Where are you from, Heather?
Originally from Philly. I was living in New York. Now I live in Baltimore, but I'm back for the summer. So I figured I would come share Shabbat with all of you.
Awesome. Heather?
Yes.
Heather's not shy, friends. I just want you to know that. Heather's asking, I was just like, how much do you want me to talk? I could do it like an hour. Yeah, you could say like, do you have a sermon prepared? I'd be like, you could do the sermon. Why not? Anybody else?
I'm not new here, but I'm relative. Yeah, sure. Yes, hello. Hi, I'm Jean-Paul Stiller. I'm wanting to be a new member here. I'm seeking to be a new member here.
Welcome back, dude.
Hi, it's not my first time, but it's my first time the last 3-4 years. My first time as a father, my first time as a husband and a homeowner. So feels like a new person. Homeowner.
Wow. That's a nice surprise. Anybody else want to say hello? Hi.
It doesn't make much difference. Hi, I'm Anna. It's my first time. I'm visiting from the UK. I'm a rabbi there, and I'm coming to learn what amazing community you have here. Hi, yes, and I've spoken to some people here. Yes. Thank you so much. That's me. Hi.
Anna's been so courteous and British about trying to get an appointment to speak with us, which has been wonderful. And so that's the expression, Anna, because an amazing new Jewish community in the UK. What's the name of the Jewish community?
Mosaic Jewish Congregation.
Wow. And how old is the Mosaic?
So each of the communities are pretty old. It's a liberal reform and Masorti, which conservative, reform, and different kind of conservative, I suppose, if I translate. And they've all decided to join resources and each have their own rabbi, but they've brought me in to do a separate project.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to hear more about that. That's exciting.
I think we're meeting next week.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Can't wait. Online, we have a couple of people I think that are saying hi. We just check in here. How's our online chaver doing? Good to see everybody here. Wonderful. I'm just going to go through some of the screens. Good to see all of you in the Neshama, Felice. Okay, wonderful. Wherever you all are, we hope that you're comfortable and that you're in Shabbat space as well. It's a kind of good moment for us here in the community to stand up and to say Shabbat Shalom to one another. So take maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes Jewish time and just say hello to one another. And then we'll come back together.
Starting in September. I'll find you. I like hunting.
I have to show you what I do.
as we join together on page 31 and 32, we rise. And the reason we stand together at this moment is because this is the call to community. This Baruch Hu is only done in the presence of 10, a significant and symbolic number in our tradition. It represents creation, all of creation. God created the world in our tradition with 10 utterances. And so as we stand together as a community, whether we can stand or we can want to stand, we recognize that standing is itself a very powerful thing. To stand for, to stand with, to withstand, to understand. So this moment of yet another tear in the fabric of our democracy to some extent, yet another moment of going backwards to some extent. Recognize the importance of standing together and speaking, and recognizing the dignity and the divinity in each and every one of us, regardless of our sexual orientation, our ethnic identity, our nationality, our religious beliefs there or lack thereof. On a Shabbat which is dedicated to pride, to be proud, B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of the divine that is each and every one of our birthright. So when we call out Baruch Hu, no one ever knows what the other person standing next to them means when they say God. We don't know what the other person next to us means when they say love. We don't know what the other person next to us or in front of us feels when they look at a sunset or a sunrise. That's, of course, a truism and trite, but it's so deep to remember that the infinite space between us is filled by mystery and openness. The infinite space between even the closest of people, said Rilke, is impossible to traverse. And so a living side by side is invited. And so we live side by side, shoulder to shoulder, looking out at a shared horizon. That, of course, is not always true. And so at those moments, we remember the deepest possible horizon that we hold forth for all of humanity. Call to community on page 31 and 32. Baruch Hu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed. Page 34, 33, Bruchat Shchinam, Eloheinu Ruach Olam Asher B'Dvaram Ariva Aravim B'Chokhmam. Elah Chaya V'Kayemet Tamid Timloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ha'Shchina Hamariva Aravim. Avat Olam Beit Yisrael on page 36. For the first time, Father, returning to the space with a love so big, so expansive, you didn't think it could get even bigger. But then you hold a little baby, a niece, a nephew, a sister, a brother. You become a grandparent, a grandfather, a grandmother. And you know Avat Olam again. A spiral of love that comes around. Ki hem chayenu li'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו Yisrael. We prepare for Shema on page 37 and 38. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta es Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele. Page 39 and 40. Al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha. Teach your children. Speak these words into them. When you sit in your homes and when you're on the way, when you lie down at night and when you wake up in the morning, bind these truths on your heart. Place them before your eyes at all times. Write them on the doorposts so that your homes and then your cities are places of faith. Page 41, second paragraph. And we say these words, pen yiften levavchem, lest your hearts are led astray, being distracted and being pulled, serving alien gods, even bowing to them. Page 43, the third paragraph of the Shema. From this week's Torah portion, Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, Daber el bnei Yisrael v'marta alehem yasu lehem tzitzit, al kantei b'ydeim ledoros amanasnu al tzitzis, hagana b'sil lecheles, v'aya lachem letzitzis. V'yisem also l'chartem l'chartem. Among these guruvas kisem es komets v'osavissem pilushim le'meni Adonai l'chem eshot. I am the source of life that took you once and take you now and always out of places of slavery, constriction, narrowness, and pain, to be the source of power for you. Adonai Elohechem emes. On page 48. Ra'uvanim es kuraso shibichu v'yodu lishmo u'malchuso v'ratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe u'Miriam v'nei Yisrael lecha anu shira v'simcha rabba v'yameru chulam Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi
chamocha neda bakodesh nora teilot oseh berelem
Malchusecha ra'u vanecha b'kayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam ze'eli Anu v'yameru Adonai yimloch
le'olam va'ed
v'ne'emar ki v'ada Adonai et Yaakov v'gala me'ad chazak mimenu. Oh, we feel like Jacob right now. Imagine Jacob. Last he saw his children, he thought that they were going to get along. He wanted so badly that they would be together. So he sends Joseph, but it doesn't go so well. Before he knows it, 17 years have passed. He hasn't seen his beloved son. And then the reunion takes place and the surprise. and the shock. You were there all along. And then Jacob winds up in Mitzrayim in Egypt for 17 years, living together with his beloved Joseph. Before he passes away, he says, Joseph, don't let me be buried here in the land of constriction. Take me back home. But could Jacob have known the kind of suffering that his children would now endure for 210 or some say 400 years? Could Jacob have known that in the end, his children and his children's children and his children's children's children would one day sing a freedom song, a liberation song, and march through that raging sea to the other side? And so we say, V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov. You, source of life, you redeemed Jacob, and you redeemed him from all of the things that were too difficult to imagine being redeemed from. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Amidenu Malkeinu l'chaim on page 49. Lay us down in peace, author of the stars, raise us up to life, ground of our being. Spread over us the sukkah, the shelter of your peace. Keep the night terrors away, hatred, violence, hunger, disease. Keep the demons away. Fears for our past, our future. Hold us in the shadow of your wings, our guardian. Shmor tzeseinu, uvoeinu l'chaim u'l'sholom, yata v'yad ulam. Ufros aleinu, Sukkot shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Porei Sukkot shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al Yerushalayim. Please rise if you're able. V'shamnu on page 51 and 52. Kadishan Beis 51 and 52 Yiskadal v'yiskada Shemei Rabba Yalmadi v'achidu Sev Yamlich Malchusei Mechayechon U'v'yomechon U'v'leidechon Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Ba'agala U'mizman kodim yiberu Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitbar, V'tomot Nasek, Yishadar, Yis'aleh, Yis'alal, Shemei Dikudishai, Le'egla min kol minchos HaMashir Yosak, Yosh Bekasar Enema, Damilot De'alma, and let us say Amen. Amidah can be found on page 55 and 56. So as a rabbi, I relish being asked to do weddings. One of my favorite things to do. And I doubly relish, if there's such a phrase, when I get to do a wedding within my own family. And as the only rabbi in my family, I get asked frequently to do weddings. This year alone, I officiated 3 weddings of mishpacha, of friends of family. All of them second cousins or children of my very close first cousin, Laura and Abby. And so I found myself this past Sunday back in the very same shul, the very same temple, synagogue that I was in at one point 14 years ago under the chuppah. Although this time under the chuppah, I wasn't under the chuppah, the canopy, the wedding canopy, to be married, but to marry my cousin Ben Sion, Benzi. It was maybe one of the most beautiful days of my life. And Benzi, from a very young age, was just a remarkably charismatic kid. It was the intimidating cousin because everybody wanted to be around him. His smile was infectious, is infectious. He's so charismatic. He's so personable, so loving of people, and so musical, and so talented as an artist and as a theater person. Very young age, like we'd sit around and he'd be singing songs from musical theater. And at some point, I think it was maybe in high school when Benzi came out. And thankfully, even though I was born grew up in an Orthodox family, Ben grew up in a formerly Orthodox family. His mother, having long adopted Reconstructionist perception and perspectives on the world, they belonged to the synagogue that Bedam Shalom up in White Plains, went to Salman Schechter, and so no big deal. But I wonder, and often wondered, given where things were in the world and given where things were in the Jewish world, what Benzi's options were as he grew up. Where would he find love? And more importantly, I wondered to myself, given how much he loved Yiddishkeit, how much he loved Judaism, how would he possibly find someone in the Jewish world? It's rare. And so how incredible it was. Don't know what that is. Does anybody know what that is? How incredible it was when he met Matan. Matan came from a family of Israelis from Petach Tikva, grew up in Portland, Oregon, and went to Yeshiva University, where he also came out to his family and was received with pride, with love, with dignity, respect. And so when Matan and Ben arranged to meet with me and we sat down, we started talking about their wedding, their commitment to Jewish liturgy and the sanctity of the kind of wedding that they had grown up with was paramount. They wanted to feel like a regular wedding, they said. And there are so many different ways, of course, and so many liturgical innovations and different ways to be married now. But they wanted only one change, they said. They wanted to be fully egalitarian. And whenever it says chatan v'kala, wherever it says groom and bride, the Israeli mother in them said, ahuv v're'ah, beloved and friend. Kol sason v'kol simcha, kol chatan v'kol kala, no. Kol sason v'kol simcha, the voice of jubilation and joy. Kol ahuv, the voice of the beloved, v're'ah, and the friend. Nice, right? From the first moment that I met them, it was so clear to me, so obvious. I've married maybe 100 people in my career, maybe more. I never met two people who were so perfect for each other in my life. It was so obvious and so clear. It was so evident that if there was a God, as the Midrash says, who was Meshadech Shiduchin, the Gemara says, what has God been doing since the creation of the world? And the Talmud says, God's been involved in J-dates, like making, connecting people. If there is such a deity, if there is such a kismet, such a synchronicity, if there is some universal cosmic order that somehow brings people together, the Talmud also says that it is difficult to bring people together as it is to split the sea. So it's not an easy thing. And if somehow these two remarkable human beings had made their way to the first date that both of them said from the moment they met, from the moment. I'll even tell you a cute story. I hope he's not watching. Matan was so sure after he finished the date that he texted a picture of my cousin Ben to his mother, but accidentally it went to Ben. It didn't matter. The karmic train had already left the station. It was done. And all we could do this past Sunday morning under that chuppah was bless what was true. And bless what was obvious, bless what was more natural than any star and any fruit and any vegetable and anything in the material world. It was so part of God's world. And we were there to just pay homage to the possibility of love winning in a world where love doesn't often win. And in my heart, as I stood under the chuppah, I couldn't help but think about what it took for this self-evident truth to finally arrive. How many decades, how much pain, how much suffering was involved in arriving in a moment in a synagogue with two incredible human beings loving their Judaism and living it proud and loud, and all of us just like saying, a love like that, a love supreme. And it couldn't but have me thinking, of course, about, and I said this to them, about this coming week's Torah portion. Tomorrow morning in synagogues around the world, at least here in the United States and not in Israel, we're going to be reading about the spies. Parshat Shlach. The Torah tells us that 12 elected officials, Anshe Shem, really people with great pedigree, of great name. They have a big following on Twitter. They have they're very well known. People with power. All of them. Kulam, the Torah tells us over and over again, that word repeats itself, kulam, not as if to say there wasn't one that wasn't. Kulam, kol on it, kol, all of them, one, not, maybe 10, no, all of them. All of them were incredible. And they went to spy in the land, or they're essentially to go and get information and bring it back. And sure enough, they bring back all of these truthful things that they've seen. The land is an Eretz Ochelet Yoshva. It's a really, it's difficult. There are going to be fortified cities. It's not going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be easy. We're not going to just like bulldoze our way into the land. And they bring back truth. But then they interpret that truth in a particular way. They say, because of what we've seen, we're never going to get there. In fact, we're the only ones who will get there, not you. We got there, but you're not getting there. And up stands Caleb, Kalev, and Joshua. And they say, yeah, it's true. Of course, there's truth in what they say. But come on. The original, yes, we can. Yachol nuchal. Yes, we can. Literally, those are the words. Yes, we can. Don't think we can't. We can. Even if the facts on the ground seem difficult, even if the obstacles seem obvious, even if the challenges are overwhelming, yes, we can. And in fact, yes, they did. Because of Caleb and Joshua, maybe not all of those people that were there, but eventually they did wind up being in the land. Without the powerful message of Caleb and Joshua, as a remnant for all of us here, not for those who actually were in the land, but all of us in the future to come, to say to ourselves, in spite of all that others say, yes, we can. We wouldn't be here today without the Caleb in Marsha P. Johnson, who some say threw the brick in Stonewall. She wrote, as long as gay people don't have their rights all across America, there's no reason for celebration. Yachol nuchol, she said, yes, we can. Without Sylvia Rivera and Harvey Milk, without the great Alexia Salvador, a trailblazer, trans woman in Brazil, even as the violence in Brazil in recent years has completely reached an all-time high. She keeps screaming, they keep screaming, yes, we can, yes, we can, yes, we can, Caleb and Joshua. They didn't accept the status quo. And as I was standing under the chuppah with all of you here, and all of you there, and everyone there, and all of us were standing under the chuppah, seeing what one moment at a time of courage and a relentless belief that the only way to make change is to withstand the headwinds that push us back. Ahuv v're'ah. Kol sason v'kol simcha, kol ahuv v'kol re'ah. How many thousands of years were there young men like Ben and Matan waiting to stand under a chuppah and hear the rabbi say, I'll say those words for you. Sure, ahuv v're'ah, because you are ahuv v're'ah. Your love is not any less than the love of anyone else that has ever stood under this chuppah with you. And how many decades ago would that have been crazy? How many places in the world is this still crazy and impossible to imagine? And how courageous are the Calebs and Joshuas and Alexias and Sylvias and all of them all around the world who are doing this work unflinchingly in spite of bodily harm, death threats. I remember going to the Dominican Republic with AJWS, and we met a sex worker who was on the forefront of trying to bring about change in LGBTQ dignity in the Dominican Republic, which is almost non-existent. And it's terrifying today, on a day like today, to think about this step backwards that our country has taken. It's terrifying today that not 10, but 7 Anshe Shem, women, men who have remarkable pedigrees, rendered a decision that said essentially and ostensibly to all of us, we're not getting into that promised land. You know, that land where everybody is free, right? A land where everyone's free. No. A land where women's bodies belong to them. We're not getting there. A land where we don't have to be worried that somebody might have a handgun in the pew right next to you. We're not getting there either. B'chol dor v'dor, in every generation there's a Caleb and a Joshua. In every generation there's a Rosa and a Sylvia in every generation because they see Matan and Ben, the ones who aren't yet under the chuppah, the ones who are now wondering if there's a world for them. Is there an ahuv and a re'ah for them? And who will stand in the breach? So I got an email today from an elected official who said, are we screwed? That was the title of the email. Are we screwed? And then this elected official wrote words, I think, of great courage and comfort and inspiration. We will get to the promised land. There will be setbacks. There will be people who say it's impossible. Even in me, there's a person inside of me saying, isn't it time now to move to Canada? Isn't it time now to move? Just this week, my friend Gary Gold, our friend, Gary moved to Eretz Yisrael, moved to Israel, made Aliyah. But we're here. And we have prophets and prophetesses with us. We have leaders and we have powerful visionaries who say, you know what? This is hard. It's really hard. We can't see the chuppah from where we stand right now. Might be a long road, might take 40 years, maybe longer, who knows? Maybe shorter. But I believe, I have to believe that we together can look at one another and say, I want this land to be a land that I am proud of, a country that I have pride in, a society that makes me proud, that the streets of New York and the streets of Oklahoma and the streets in Florida and the streets in California are places where pride lives. We can be ge'ez, as they say in Hebrew. I am so proud that we're a place where love rules, where violence has been legislated against, and where women's bodies belong to women. It's so clear that love is love. And one day it'll be equally clear that women's choice is women's choice. We're not there yet. Got a way to go. But leman achai v're'ai, for the sake of my brothers and sisters, for the sake of my friends, for all of those who need us now more than ever, we must rise up. Please rise. On page 82. Olam chesed yibaneh. God must
that
build.
God will build this world from love. Da 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 da.
Page 80. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Please remain standing if you are in mourning anyone. If you feel comfortable saying the name of the loved one you are remembering. Nate, is it on?
Pardon me?
Just one more time. Say it.
Joe Haroon.
Amy Anderson.
My father, Alan Dumaine.
The 11th yortzeit of my brother Keith, my sister-in-law Lisa, and my niece Isabel.
My dad, Arthur Eisenberg.
We're saying Kaddish for 3 men that were killed at Rikers this week. Albert Dry, Antonio Bradley, and Anibal Corzawilo.
My father, my grandfather, Albert Coates.
My mother, Charlotte Frank.
Shula Koenig and Henny Winkart.
Barbara Wilson.
For our community online as well, we lift up these names. Elaine Glenda Bloom, Becca Bloom's mother. Also, Simon Brichick, Dorian's father. Gavin Sword. Oh. Thank you. Jonine Cummings and Uni Work Casa Yitzchak. Perry's mom, Shirley. Sharon Zadie, Sam Weissman. Susan's father, Howard Dess. Edie Selman. Joel Winograd. Mickey Zielinski. All of those who have died because they were LGBTQ plus, anyone who has ever been persecuted and killed for that identity. We lift up their memory. We invite those who stand for the Mordechai Kaddish to please rise. You can find the Mordechai Kaddish on page 115. Yiskadal v'yiskadash shmei rabah.
Amen.
V'alma divrach chirusei, v'yamlich machusei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kori v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei rabah mivorach v'olam v'yomei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei dekutsha brichu, le'elam mikol b'rchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'oma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom v'ramav v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru,
Amen.
Amen. Yeh zichram baruch, may their memory be a blessing. We invite everybody to please rise. Into this cup of blessing tonight. Thank you to Nate and to Rabbi Janice Elster. Thank you to Freddie, Blanca, Erica, and Victor for setting up this sanctuary. It takes a lot of work to our davening leaders tonight, to Judy Gray, and the return of a piece of the community band, all right, to Ellen and Farnoosh. Thank you so much. And to our beloved Noah Solomon, who is here with us again and will be with us quite a bit. We'll make an announcement this week about Noah's role in the coming year as part of the Romemu davening team, which we look forward to so much. Into this cup of blessing, all of you for being here tonight. I know it's a little bit hotter in here than it is outside probably, but I'm wearing wool, so I am just saying. And so it's really so vital for us to come back in person. And so if you came tonight, thank you so much. And it's also vital, of course, for those who are in the synagogue also, wherever you are, we're so happy that you're able to join us. I wanted to tell people here before you leave, this remarkable Israeli folk dancing with Rina and Ilan happens on Tuesday nights. And I happen to be, Thursday nights rather, I was happy to be working quite late last night. And I wound up doing a little Israeli dancing on my way out. It was just right next door, and it was and you know what else they had? They had an Eladon tune, which I thought was Eladon, but it's really an Israeli da 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 dum da dum da 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 dum da dum da 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 dum da dum da dum da 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 dum. It's an Israeli folk dance, and they put it into Eladon, which was great. So there's some flyers for you on the way out, which is kind of a cool way to use the Romemu space. Tomorrow morning, can't wait for Caleb to shine. And mazel tov again to Maggie and Caleb and the whole family. On page 88, everyone, Kiddush. Yom HaShishi, Vayechulu HaShamayim V'Haaretz, V'chol Tzevaram, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבוס ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי מושבץ מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Sorry, my friends. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'rotzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'avoratzon imchi lanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshis ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zecher yitzias Mitzrayim. הבנו אחת, אותנו קידשת, עם כל עמים, שבת קודשך, אהבה ורצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש. Whatever you want. It's kind of like you call the shots. That's it.
Shabbat Shalom.